We have Tess from Dr. Squash, and she's actually going to give you a sneak peek on how her team is prepping for BFCM. She's the senior CX associate. Tess, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Where are you based out of?
I'm based in LA, so you
Hello.
might hear some traffic of the LA sounds.
Oh, we love it. Bright and early for you.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, pleasure. It's great having you here. And the stage is all yours.
Well, yeah, hi. I'm actually the CX manager at Dr. Squatch now, but I've been there for over a year now, and a little bit. I'm going to give a quick run through of my background, and then we'll dive deep into how we're prepping for Black Friday at Dr. Squatch. I kind of come from a little bit of everywhere. I have almost like 10 years of e-commerce and CX experience. And you would think that, girl, you've been in it for 10 years. Like, why are you still doing this? But I think for me, like the biggest passion I always have with CX is I'm a people person and I really love getting to know our customers, and the customer journey is really important to me. And so, I come from brands like Missouri and Terra Cafe, but at the end of the day, like when I ended up at Dr. Squatch and a men's soap brand of all things, like there was a lot that about the customer journey that I was able to learn like within this year, and kind of brings me into Black Friday and the preparation that we're doing uh, currently right now, actually. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of just dive in. I don't have a presentation or anything like Eli, but I'm more of a talker. So if at any point you guys are like, this girl's rambling for too long, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to pause. But one of the main things that we did at Dr. Squatch, or we have been doing at Dr. Squatch, is last year, me and the team started pretty much like a month prior to the holidays. So we didn't actually have an opportunity to really do like a deep dive or understand like what were the issues prior to us getting started. We had like a pretty high level overview, but it really wasn't until we were in the peak season were we able to identify the root causes and the issues in our BFCM planning. So obviously, we were very reactive to that, and we kind of just kept our head down and managed through all of our promotions, our inventory issues, our out of stock issues, our subscriptions that are still existing with our customers. Like everything was very reactive, but it was also like a learning opportunity for us. So me and the two other women that are in our team, Melinda and Joan, like we all kind of just like took everything in and sat back and like we're there to support our BPO Horatio with any of those issues, and everything was very reactive. Once BFCM passed, what we did was put together an after action summary, and it was basically what went right, what went wrong, and what are the opportunities we have. And we pretty much started like immediately after we put together that action summary, to tackle those issues head on. So we didn't wait till like Q3, honestly, to kind of prep for BFCM. We've been prepping for it since Q1, mainly because a lot of the issues that happen for us during BFCM are issues that we don't think are only important during peak season. We think these issues are very important to tackle on for any like typical customer shopping through our website. And to give you like a little quick insight, one of the big issues that we found was how our inventory was set up for promotions, for our gift with purchases, and like our subscriptions. We pretty much run a promotion, a sale, or a launch, even limited edition. I see someone talking about Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, like we launch something pretty much every week or so. So, how we prep for that is incredibly vital. And to be transparent, the prepping was lackluster. And so we kind of dived in, and right in the beginning of Q1, we worked very closely with other departments to ensure that, okay, like what are the issues? We don't tackle inventory like other e-commerce brands. We're very meticulous, and it is a little bit more difficult than any other brand that I've worked for. So it wasn't just like, all right, just prep and plan it better. It was more like, no, we have to do like weekly syncs We have inventory set up in different channels. We use NetSuite, we use Shopify, we have our 3PLs, we have our fulfillment team, our business and web operations teams that we need to like sync with weekly to kind of tackle these issues before BFCM. So that was one of the things that we started doing. And then we also took a deep dive into how our associates were handling our tickets. So, like I said, our team kind of came in, I think like August, September, so right before BFCM and all that hit. So a lot of it was us just kind of watching and observing how our team operates and kind of taking like a mental note, but also writing these things down of like, okay, like this is fine. This is like the bare minimum that a CX team should achieve, but how can we achieve better? So right before BFCM, we actually spoke to Gorgeous on AI. So we actually implemented AI like right before Q4 of last year. And the one reason we did that is because when we took a close look at how our associates were handling their tickets, we noticed like specifically to BFCM, like they were having to also handle tickets that just weren't they were like, easy one-off tickets that I think if we have an AI like team member can come in and take that off their hands so that they can dedicate their time to the tickets that need a lot more of that, specialized like assistance. So that was the first thing we did was we actually implemented AI for Dr. Squatch, and that has been going swimmingly well. The second thing that we kind of observed was the tone and the QA process with our associates. So tone is obviously a really big thing for Dr. Squatch. If you guys aren't familiar with our advertising and our marketing, we're very cheeky. We're really funny, and we found that oftentimes our associates were talking to them in a very serious manner. Girl, it's $7 soap. Like, we do not need to be too empathetic with a customer that's like lost their soap in the mail. So what we did was like scrap a lot of like how they were talking to the customers. And believe it or not, we actually told them to tone down on the empathy. You're like, you need to match the customer where they're at. Speak to them the way that they're kind of speaking to you. So oftentimes a lot of our customers are male shoppers. So they're pretty direct with what they want. And I don't think you need to add a lot of filler conversation. You can keep it pretty direct with them. Obviously, we still have like that cheeky tone to it. And honestly, our AI really helped with that because our AI, Chad, when we typed in like how he should speak to the customers, we took a lot of those examples and like showed that to our agents and are like, this is the kind of like tone we're thinking of where he's still like, sassy and he's still funny, but at the end of the day, he's also pretty direct and like very resolution oriented. And that's kind of the tone that we wanted our associates to adopt. So that was the first thing. The second thing also was our QA process. So we believe really heavily on how we QA our tickets. If you guys don't have a QA department, I highly encourage you to have one or have someone dedicated to QAing your associates and how they're handling tickets. We work with a BPO, Horatio. So luckily they developed a QA team for us. But even that QA team, again, we're meeting the bare minimum. And we thought, how can we improve this even further for, of course, BFCM, but overall, just like in general, how we speak to our customers and how we handle their issues. So one of the biggest things we did was kind of create a metric to our QA process. A lot of it was kind of like this is free talk when they were having the coaching sessions with their associates. We have categories like active reading, empathy, tone is one, of course, grammar, things like that. But when you're talking to an associate like this, it's hard for them to really identify what they can improve on. Oftentimes they can disassociate, they can lose track of what the point of the ticket and the conversation was. And at the end of the day, we also want to kind of gamify it. So having like a metric to it, having a goal for them to obtain, that's important for them because they're like, okay, now I have a clear idea of like what I could have improved, where I went wrong, and not even wrong, like what I could have just done better, even because again, we have an average of 4.5 always, but we wanted to achieve even higher for our CSAT. So we improved our QA. We also had pretty big goals for that. Pretty much Q1 to Q3, we kind of scrapped everything, stripped it all apart. And now we are having CSATs around 4.8 consistently. So I'd like to think that those things really helped. And then the last thing we did was actually something that we're kind of working on right now, which is ticket tiering. Gorgeous has been really helpful with us in this, but if you've ever been an agent, you kind of understand the gist of handling a ticket. You grab it from the inbox, or someone who's your supervisor will assign you some tickets, and you just kind of handle that and you go off of that. For us at Dr. Squatch, that wasn't cutting it. Like I said, we have a lot of random one-off questions that we get from new customers, curious customers, and then we have people who've been shoppers with us since the company has been existing, so for like 5 years, who like need a lot more in-depth help, whether it's with their subscription, order status tracking, things that like not all of our associates can assist with. And with that also, because we've been a company for 5 years, we have associates who are way tenured that shouldn't be, in my opinion, handling these like one touch tickets that I personally think either AI or a new agent could handle. So we are currently implementing ticket tiering, which is basically two levels of tickets. One, which is our, easy, one touch, like quick back and forth based off of resolution and first response time. Um, Something that our newer associates can handle pretty easily and get like a feel for what our customers typically ask for. And then we have our second tier, which is definitely more of those higher touch escalated issues. Customers who have like existing subscriptions with us for over 4+ years, customers who yeah, have like large orders that they've placed, maybe not for subscriptions, but are like VIP customers that we consider. Customers who yeah, pretty much, I think you get the gist, but like basically customers who just need a little bit more dedicated assistance. And that already has been kind of in the works for us. I'm really excited to see how that'll work for us in BFCM, mainly because, again, we have a plethora of questions that kind of come in our way for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I'm not entirely sure if I can say this, but I'm just going to say it anyways. But our Black Friday is going to be like almost like over a week and a half. So we're doing a really extended promotion that is going to be busy. Like, we're going to have all types of questions come our way. And I'm really excited to see how the ticket tiering will come in handy for us. Outside of course, we've prepped and planned for inventory. We've spoken to other like departments on how we can properly set up our subscriptions. We've been doing all of these things like in the background since Q1 in preparation for Q4. So honestly, this time around, we are very we're feeling good about BFCM this year, but also, as you know, if you've worked in e-commerce, things go wrong left and right. But the last thing that working in CX, my priority is always how we can improve like our associates to deliver the best customer service they can to our customers. And it's already worked out in our favor. Like I said, we've had a CSAT for like 4.8 right now. We actually got awarded best customer service from USA Today. And these are all things that, just like on the background, I like to say it's not like the cute work. Like when we report to our direct supervisor, like Carl, who's my director, I'm like, yeah, we're doing QA stuff. Like we're trying to improve like how we're coaching our agents. He's like, okay, but like, what is that? What does that mean? Like, and I know that on the outside, it doesn't look attractive to everyone, but this kind of work is really important to ensure that our associates can handle any type of ticket that comes their way, but that we're prepped, we're ready, we're confident that if there are ever any future issues that we have, we're not just being reactive, we're also being proactive with those. Yeah, so I'm going to stop there for a second because I spoke for a little bit. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Tess, is there anything else you'd like to share, or are you hoping to wrap up?
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, there's not much I can share other than like the biggest thing that I always take away from like my 10 years is like really understand what your customer needs are, match them where they're at. Like we don't always have to go above and beyond. Like it's really just sitting across the table from them and being like, all right, tell me what you need from me and like let me see if I can do that. And most of the time we can't do it. Again, I like to tell my associates like it's $7 soap. Like give them the soap, they'll be fine. And we talk a lot about like the effortless customer experience. We want our customers to honestly never have to write in. So the idea behind it is help them with the issues that they have like firsthand, but also be proactive, think outside, think two steps ahead. If you've done improv and you're in LA, then you know, but like we think of like if and. So answer the question that's in front of you, but then also think ahead and be like, okay, what other things could this person possibly need assistance with? And can I tackle it right here so that hopefully for the foreseeable future, they don't have to reach out to us? And we've already seen like quite a significant decrease in ticket volume just off of those coaching techniques. So,
Right,
yeah,
great.
I mean, other
And I
than that,
think there was one really important tip that you mentioned earlier is like using AI agent to help, automate some of those tier one tickets so that your team doesn't become overwhelmed for BFCM when there is an influx of tickets that do come in. We do actually have one question here for you, Tess. What are some of your tips in reducing unsubscribe rates? Are you in the weeds of that?
we are in the weeds of that. That's like a big thing for us. We're predominantly a subscription-based company. You know, if you look on our website, everything's except for the Sydney Sweeney soap was you could subscribe to, and we do have something that we've been really tackling this year is our churn rate, and one of the biggest ways that we've done that is through the effortless customer experience. If you make it easy for a customer to subscribe, to consistently purchase, to consistently, make the adjustments, whether or not they're reaching to an associate or doing it on themselves. The goal is to make a customer's job as easy as possible and provide as many self-service tools. So I can like talk about it like extensively, but basically, if they're coming to an associate, just do the job for them, then equip them with the future knowledge. We have a beautiful help desk that we actually used from Gorgeous as well. We used to use this company called Help Docs, and thank God we transitioned to you guys. It's beautiful. It's easy to find all of the FAQs on subscription management. And we've already seen just a slight uptick, but that is definitely a big goal for us is to like improve our churn rate because oftentimes customers are subscribing because they just want the discount. And we're like, okay, yeah, but did you know that if you stay, you're not going to keep getting a discount, but we'll help you with everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making the customer's job easy.
It sounds like uh, uh, it sounds like to avoid as much like customer friction when they do reach out of like canceling subscription or like if they have questions about something additional, your team
Uh,
seems like they're always on it so that you can answer the questions quickly, efficiently. And there's actually so a couple more questions, so we'll answer a few more here. How do you handle disgruntled CX team members?
I get that. I get it because I started in as a CX associate, and you get at the end of the day, a customer is a human and they must be, I know this is so cliche, but they're probably going through something. And then we just happen to be the person that really ticked them off because they lost their package and they want to blame it on us. So, after 10 years, definitely does it every now and then get to you? Yes, it does. But I think the most important thing is like stepping away from what I tell our associates oftentimes if they have like a negative perception about the customer or the job that they're doing is like, first of all, I do check-ins with our associates pretty biweekly. I know they're a BPO, but I don't treat them like they're contractors or vice versa. Like they're doing so much for us. Again, I came from like being a CX associate. I have empathy. That's why I'm in this job for so long. And likewise, having empathy for a person every day is a very taxing and grueling job. So I really do like to do check-ins with our associates and our TLs, which are team leads, and our managers to be like, how are you guys feeling?
Mhm.
We plan on doing that for BFCM as well. But then also, like, I really want to shift the perception that they have on our customers. So for a lot of our tenured agents, like, listen, I get it. Some of the customers come in hot and heavy. And oftentimes, like, every now and then, not oftentimes, but every now and then we'll have a customer, who may not use the appropriate language and is crossing boundaries essentially. So I can understand and empathize with our associates, but what I don't want them to do is define all of our customers under that box. So really checking in with them is really important. Feedback is very crucial. Something that we recognized early on was that the way they give feedback is it's very negative and constructive, and they were almost, like, afraid of us whenever we would, like, slack them, and I'm like, "Whoa, you don't have to be afraid of us. You do not have to be afraid of the feedback." Feedback is good, like, it's never, ever meant to come at you in a way that makes you feel like you're doing your job wrong. It's more just like, "How can you do your job better?"
Mhm.
So we give them feedback. With our QA sessions that we talked about, we have a free form like box where we, you know, kind of chime in and put in like any additional thoughts like, hey, like with your tone here, I think I could tell that you were a little upset or maybe shorter with the customer here. Um, Providing them that like feedback every coaching session. Like, I mean, I'm going to say feedback like 10 times now, but
Yeah.
feedback is also really crucial to make sure we're keeping our associates like, um, I don't wanna say them in check, but more just, like, engaged and, like, aware of how they might come across to the customers.